Okay, so we're now going to be talking about the Seven Years' War portion of the French and Indian conflicts, which is basically France and Britain fighting, which really doesn't involve the Native Americans, even though they think that they're fighting to preserve their own land. So basically, in the early 50s, everything happened that I said before in the 40s. So in 1754, the French built Fort Duchesne. I think that's how you say it, where two rivers joined to form the Ohio River, which is basically Pittsburgh, which is strategically a good stronghold that the British repeatedly attacked on the French. Um, in 1754 and 1755, the French won a bunch of different victories, including one on a young George Washington, and with General Edward Braddock and Braddock's successor as well, William Shirley. Um, Sorry, I lost my place. One second. So in 1756, the British formally declared war on the French, making it the official beginning. Um, their new commander in America, which was Lord Loudoun, faced some of the same problems, which was he didn't have very many success against the French and their Indian allies. When William Pitt was brought in as the new British leader in 1757, he took the colonial conflicts as a key to building a vast British empire. You know, he borrowed heavily against them to finance the war, and he paid Prussia to fight in Europe and reimburse the colonies. Um, the British also had victories in Canada, which is what they were fighting over as well. That was the Louisbourg siege, and a month later after that, they took Fort Frontenac, I believe is how you say it, at the western end of the river, so pretty much closing them out. And then in 1758, General John Forbes captured Fort Duchesne for the British. So the French had completely destroyed and left, and they later named it Fort Pitt, which was a British stronghold. The British then attacked Quebec, where General James Wolfe won the Battle of Quebec on the Plains of Abraham in 1759 in September. Though him and Marquis de Montcalm were both killed. So with the fall of Montreal in 1760, the French lost pretty much their last foothold in Canada, and then soon the Spain joined in with the French against England, or the British, and they essentially lost too. Um, so then after that, the Treaty of Paris happened, and the British basically received Canada from France and Florida from Spain, but they let France keep its West Indian sugar islands and gave Louisiana to Spain. It kind of strengthened the American colonies because they forced everybody out and up, and that opened the whole Mississippi Valley to any Western expansion at all. But one thing that I wanted to kind of mention was that the the French lose, and then nobody really talks about the native things that are happening, and the native people in the Ohio country, they thought that that was their land, and due to a lot of disease and stuff, that ran through them and almost knocked them all out, but they pretty much thought that they were fighting for their own land and that the French were just helping, but that's not how it turned out.